Hi, guys. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. We're going to do a fun one tonight. I think it's a fun one. We're going to talk about songs that have origins in something else, meaning they were sampled or a beat was borrowed from another song.
Oh.
Well, I'm going somewhere with this. And even Kevin, I think, will do fine with this. Brian will kill it. Eric will do very well. Aaron, John, you'll all do fine with this one.
Don't underestimate me.
You'll do fine with this one. It'll be fun. Before we jump into it, I'd like to thank our sponsor, DJ Event Planner. Check DJ Event Planner out, as well as our other sponsors, in the comment section, either below or to the side or wherever it happens to be oriented on whatever platform you happen to be watching this video on. YouTube is where you're going to find it. So here's where we're going to go with this. I'm thinking about, just for example, was it 2 years ago? Lotto dropped that track Big Energy. You guys know it?
Yes.
Everybody knows Big Energy? Okay. You guys know what the sample is for that?
Well, I know what the one you made with it.
It's Tom Tom Club's Genius of Love.
Okay.
Is the sample. So what I did was I started playing Tom Tom Club's Genius of Love to half of the crowd who remembers it from the first time around, and the other half of the crowd who'd never heard it before and just thought it was an original thing that Lotto did. Or maybe that they sampled it from Mariah Carey's Fantasy. That was a thing too.
Yeah.
So there are songs that get sampled. You know, old cool songs, disco, rock, all kinds of stuff. They get sampled and we play them. They're popular. But sometimes it's cool to play the original version for either the people who remember the original or people who never heard it are like, wow, this is really cool. You see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do.
So I was thinking, you know, what tracks had samples in them that you could bring back? Or what tracks have samples in them that you have brought back? You see where
I've got the all-time classic.
Okay, well, what do you got, Eric?
Rapper's Delight with Good Time Chic.
Right.
Everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not everybody knew it was Good Time Chic, but
Right.
do now.
Yeah.
And I got another one when you come back, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. John and I were discussing that one last night, actually.
Okay. I wasn't here.
No, it's okay. I'm glad that you brought it up. And John made a really interesting observation about it. And that was how closely those two songs were released.
Right.
Like within a year.
It wasn't a back in the day sample. It was like, this was just out.
Oh my
Right.
God. Yeah. It was
Right.
like within a year, right? Between the two.
I'm pretty confident Good Times was 78 and Rapper's Delight was 79.
Yeah, it wasn't even cold in the grave yet. And they're like, taking those beats.
Where most of the time now, it's this golden oldie that they're grabbing. This obscure song. Not always, though. What was the other example that we did? Was it a Dido track?
Oh, yeah, it was the Eminem Stan backbeat was Thank You from Dido, which was literally weeks before it on the chart.
Right.
The whole groove in the background is Dido's White Flag song.
White Fang or whatever it was. Yeah.
And for those
Thank you or whatever it was.
Maybe Thank You.
We can't play samples because
sadly we can't do samples, but
yeah,
you know, so they don't always have to go way back in the catalog to find something. It's like, you know, that song was on the radio 3 weeks ago. Let's take a beat from it. Let's be inspired with the quotation marks like we do.
Now, to Eric's point, we can't play you samples of any of these, but I do encourage you to check these out on YouTube. So have two windows open, watch our show, and then on the other window, check these tracks out if you don't know them. Because there might be songs that we're going to talk about tonight that you're not familiar with.
Right.
That could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So does anyone else have one they would like to throw out there?
Sure, I can go for one. I got one that's going to tie into three. So this is
okay. I like that.
So
3 samples.
Well, 3 songs related to a sample.
It's going to come down to that. So if you drop the needle on "Kool and the Gang," Hollywood Swingin', the intro beat of the song isn't really where the groove of the song goes, but there's this horn fanfare that starts off at the beginning, and that shows up twice.
Yes, it does.
Because that shows up in Mace, Feels So Good, And that's basically the backbeat of his entire song. He took the whole Kool and the Gang song because then it follows right into that beat.
Right.
But you'll also hear that same sample in DJ Kool's "Let Me Clear My Throat."
Yeah,
because that's part of the bridge of
a
heavily sampled song. Well, it's da, 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 da.
He just uses the intro.
But the other part of his song that was also lifted and borrowed was a song called "The 900 Number," which was an instrumental, which is that funky part that plays over his rap. That
the alto sax.
Right, it sounds like something out of Benny Hill.
Yeah, very alto sax.
So you take Hollywood Swinging for two, and that made two connections. And I was just thinking of that on the drive home. I'm like, I got to come up with some songs, and that just started playing in my head. I'm like, oh damn, that's in two.
That one, yeah, absolutely. Does anybody else have something they'd like to share?
I got one.
Yeah, I told you you'd do this.
See?
I told you you'd be all right.
Gonna come in.
Or it's fairly new. The Little Boo thing.
Yes.
I like that song, and so it's like, why do I know that song? Why does it have that? Then I had to go back into my. Well, sometimes my brain's a little lacking, but I went back and figured out it was "Best of My Love." So.
Yes.
So
also sounds a lot like "To Be Real." Also, is kind of
a lot
same.
like "To Be Real."
Yeah.
Got to be real.
Both of them. You'd make a mega mix of the three of them, and I've done that. So
it's yeah. In fact, it might be "Got to Be Real." I can't. No, it's "Best of My Love" because of that.
It's "Best of My Love."
Yeah, and
that is "Best of My Love."
"Best of My Love" is da 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 da.
Yes,
they're very similar songs, but yeah, you can use both of those. But yeah, that's a great one. And so now you can play "Best of My Love" and "Lil Boo Thing," and even if they don't know "Best of My Love," they know the beat and they're going to dig it. But like John said, even the Cheryl Lynn, you could sneak in there too because they're so similar. Very similar tracks, kind of like "Safety Dance" and "Big in Japan." Those are very similar tracks too. Yeah. So I was going to share one before we go to Aaron and Brian. The one I was going to share that I've done, and it was one of those nights where I was getting a lot of requests for some obscure, what I would consider obscure James Brown tracks. These were not the mainstream tracks. These were the deeper cuts. And the audience, I knew a lot of people didn't know them, but they were dancing to them anyway because it was cool and funky. So I dropped Lynn Collins' "Think About It," because it's Bootsy Collins' niece, and Bootsy's playing on it. It's very funky. It sounds very James Brown. And the break in that song is what Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock use for "It Takes Two." So I was able to play that one, and they thought, well, this is cool. And then all of a sudden they hear that part, and they were like, what is this? They freaked out. It was really neat. So that's a fun one to pull out. If you've got a crowd that digs like the old James Brown stuff and they're into the 80s hip hop or 80s music or whatever, Lynn Collins, "Think About It." Check that track out. You might want to jump past the intro. The intro's kind of long on it, but once it kicks in, it's pretty nice.
and like you say, that Rob bass hook is instantly recognizable as a turnaround in the middle. You're like, oh my god, is that where that's from? Yeah, it's like, it's that close, and it's that
Yeah,
it was on their mom's record player growing up apparently, and they knew about that, and they were just waiting to make a song around it.
I think the vocals where she's saying "It takes two to make a thing go right," I think she redid it for that, but the "yeah woo" and the beat is the same.
Well, they made it hype. Yeah. Like more modern. Yeah.
But it works. It works really well. Aaron, Brian, who wants to go first?
I had one Saturday night, actually. It was funny. I was playing the tune. I got a request from the bride to play a song I had never heard before. And so I was queuing it up and I was listening to it. The song is called "Hot to Go." Artist is Chapel Roan, Roan.
Roan.
Yeah. And I start listening to it and I'm like, what? No, this is Mickey by Tony Basil. I'm like, no way.
I've got to listen to that. Yeah.
Slowed the other one down and transitioned into Mickey. And I'm like, this is where that song came from, folks. And there was all young kids on the floor, of course. And they ate it up. They loved it. They loved it was just seamless. They were almost identical songs.
Yeah. So is Avril Lavigne's with Girlfriend. Hey, hey, you. That fits I don't like girlfriend. It's also right in the same Mickey pocket.
Totally.
So yeah.
Totally. But it was like the hand clap was in there, the snare was in at the same time. It was like, oh man, this is a direct drop from that song. And they just absolutely worked. And I apologize, it wasn't Saturday, it was Monday night's wedding last night.
We would have known the difference. It's all good. Maybe it was
crazy.
Nobody gets married on Monday.
And Monday in Canada. I don't know.
Both songs
it was one of my very first ones that I can remember, except for on a long weekend, like on a holiday weekend. It was my first non-holiday Monday, I think, wedding I've ever done. So keep it up, folks. Midday weddings, I love them. Please
any day of the week is fair game. Exactly.
I know Brian, and Brian's like the secret music guy who we pull out for big stuff like this.
Brian knows his stuff.
Brian knows Brian's stuff. Brian is an amazing DJ. I've seen him perform. I've heard his mixes. He does a great job. He's a music encyclopedia, believe it or not. So Brian's got good ones.
Try.
I didn't mean to build you up too much, but I'm going to. You better not screw this one up. Let's do it again.
Well,
no pressure.
No pressure. Yeah.
It's not necessarily a sample, but it's like the whole song. Ice Ice Baby is Under Pressure from Queen.
Oh, yeah.
The whole song is the sample.
A lot of people don't know that. And I would be one of them who didn't know that when I first heard Ice Ice Baby. I'd never heard Under Pressure. I remember my friend Mikey was like, this is a Queen song. I'm like, what? So he ran out, grabbed it and said, listen. I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is a Queen song, isn't it? I had no idea. I thought it was an original beat. And that happens a lot. I mean, I watch a lot of the YouTube reaction videos. And one that comes to mind I just watched the other day. I've seen this several times. It's the same story. They get a Patreon request to listen to a song, True by Spandau Ballet. Never heard of this artist. They put it on and like, I thought this was a Lloyd song. It's like, no, this is Spandau Ballet. So a lot of people know the sample, but don't know the original. It happens a lot, especially the younger ones. So it's fun to throw those surprise tracks in there.
And almost any Dua Lipa song that she's put out is a sample of a disco song from the 70s.
There is, or 90s.
Do your research, yes.
There's so many. Like
it's always a callback, like you say. It's
tons.
Every one I had on the list. If you want, I'll burn this one now since we're right here. It was the song "Love Again." Took the sample from White Town's "I Could Never Be Your Woman," which
Your Woman
hit Your Woman. Probably went around 90, 91 or so.
It was. I don't remember. It was later 90s. But what's interesting about that song, that's actually a sample.
Yes, because that goes
from like a 30s jazz record or something. Mm-hmm. Like a really old, like crank up your Victrola kind of recording, which is kind of interesting. They sped it up significantly. Like at the very end, they slow it down to where it's supposed to be. Let everybody go at once.
Yeah. A lot of her stuff does that. I mean, she's obviously a fan of older music or just takes quote unquote inspiration from a lot of songs that were hits.
Kevin has another one.
Marketing.
I have another one too when he's done.
I'm Blue and I'm Good.
Yeah, Blue.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Those are both good dance songs too. So you could totally mix them together, play them in the same set. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Hung Up by Madonna. You can do Gimme Gimme Gimme.
Yes.
By ABBA. Hung Up by Madonna. It's a good mix transition. Go into like newer pop, in out to disco with that.
Yeah.
Works really well.
Was that an actual sample?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From ABBA. Gimme Gimme Gimme.
Oh my God. See, we're all learning here.
Yeah. And that one took me a minute to, that is ABBA, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah. And Gimme 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 by ABBA has grown legs in the last few years, and I'm not sure why.
Oh my God. It's like come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. It was requested Saturday night at the party I was at, so I played it.
Yeah.
And I went into Hung Up right behind it.
As my wedding.
It must have been in a movie or something that I'm not aware of.
I think people are sick of Dancing Queen, and I think this is the direct go-to for ABBA.
I always thought Take a Chance on Me was the other big ABBA song.
Yeah, it's just you can do so much more with "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme," like going to hot stuff, and
I enjoy Waterloo as well for some reason.
Yeah, Waterloo's good.
That's just me.
ABBA had a bunch of good ones, though. Really.
What do you got, Eric?
I got Stevie Nicks' "Edge of 17." I believe that was sampled many times.
Yeah.
Destiny's Child, bought
famously. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Miley Cyrus's "Midnight Sky." It was sampled in that.
Yeah.
And John Cusack, you guys know who that is?
Mm-hmm.
The actor? I don't know who you're talking about.
No, but he did a drunken rendition of School of Rock. Iconic riff. And he used that sample. But I mean, that I'm sure it was used many more times. But
I know that Wookiee did a remix of Edge of 17 recently.
Okay, but Wookiee
2 years ago?
Wookiee.
Well, they did Sunshine.
Yes, they did Edge of 17 as well.
You know, Edge of 17, have you ever spun that with Bootylicious?
It's the same song.
It's the same song.
I've never spun it with it, no.
You can in and out of those.
But you know that's what it is, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's the one that I can think of, you know,
that's a good one.
No, it was like, if you listen to the other two that I mentioned, you'll see it, you'll hear it, you know. But anyway.
The easy one back in the old days, just throw it out there, was MC Hammer, You Can't Touch This, and Rick James, Super Freak.
Right.
And that was the easy one back in the day.
That is such a good mix, though. People love it. That's a great one.
Yeah. You can push it one step further and go to the Nicki Minaj track that'll feed off of that too. So
that's right. Yeah.
Super freaky girl.
Super freaky girl.
Super girl.
That's the one. I don't hate that.
Three genres right there.
I don't hate it.
3 eras of music.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't hate it because it sounds like stuff that we liked. It's like I can't hate on this song. It sounds like a song I liked before. That's how you snuck under the radar there.
Even today in the charts right now, Eminem's using Abracadabra, Steve.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just you would never think that would combine Eminem and Steve Miller, but it did.
Elton John. Why not do Steve Miller?
I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, there's weird ones out there that are. But that's another one. I mean, has anyone got a request for Abracadabra lately?
I see that once in a while, just out of the blue, because I like that song.
Yeah,
it's like the newest good Steve Miller song, and that's still going back away. So it's
you're
like
right.
There hasn't been anything from him that really made legs.
Right.
That was
it's like he did that one, and then America did You Can Do Magic, like at the same time.
Yeah.
Like these yacht rockers from the early 70s came back and had an 80s hit and then went away.
And like bam. Like in the Yeah.
Abracadabra for Steve Miller sounds nothing like Take the Money and Run or Jet.
No,
it's a whole different turn for him.
You Can Do Magic doesn't sound like Horse with No Name. I mean, they're very different.
Very different.
Right. Well, the other guy from
Little River Band.
That was like way off. Right. That was way off from Lady, Yeah,
a bit, but I mean, not like Abracadabra or You Can Do Magic. And speaking of where the hell did that come from? 70s artists jumping into the 80s with a track. Owner of a Lonely Heart, yes.
Oh, yeah, that was different.
Yeah. Nothing.
Right.
Like, yes.
No.
Nothing.
No, that was... what are they again? The Moments of Love guys, the beatbox people. Art of Noise.
Well, Trevor Horn.
It was Trevor Horn. That sounded like, because we own those records because we bought those for the breakdancing guys. And when Yes got on board, you're like, oh no, wait a second. You got your breakdancing in my progressive rock, and you got your progressive rock, and it was like that Reese's commercial. You know what I mean?
Well, I will give it to this. I'll give it to them. They were a progressive rock band, and they did a progressive song. There's another one that is probably lesser known, but I kind of enjoy it. Speaking of, we're going off track a little bit here, but it's music, so we can do this.
Yes.
Jethro Tull had an 80s song called Lap of Luxury that was pretty out there. I mean, it was the same thing. It didn't sound like Locomotive Breath or Teacher or Aqualung. It was just kind of a cool rock song. Had a nice beat to it. Had synth in it. That was weird.
I always like Bungle in the Jungle.
Bungle in the Jungle. Yeah.
That was one of my favorites by him, but yeah.
It's the first one I can remember ever hearing. And of course, I was a little kid and all the music was, relatable. I knew, Jungle Book, I knew, so yeah, Bungle in the Jungle.
I'd like to hear that after the show, the one you just brought up, because I don't think
Lap of Luxury?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. It's different, but I kind of like it. My favorite Jethro Tull song of all time is Teacher, and it's a song that a lot of people don't recall, but I love it. It's not the Benefit album. It's not Aqualung, it's not Locomotive Breath, it's not Thick as a Brick or anything like it. It's this one. It's really good.
Did you still have the
Yeah, but it's really cool how they put it in there. It's in the breakdown. It's the Benefit album is I don't know, from like 71 or 72, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's really good though. And if you're interested, I'll play that after the show too. So that's the kind of stuff I thought it'd be fun to talk about tonight. And if you guys have exhausted this topic for now, that's cool. We can maybe revisit another time. If you, an audience member, are watching this and you have a song that you're thinking, hey, this is a sample from that, we should bring this other track back. Put it down in the comment section. We'd love to hear what your
absolutely. Those comments are great.
Your insight is, because we've missed more than we hit. I mean,
oh no, I got two that I was holding because I didn't know if we were going to flip the category a little. It's like it's not necessarily taking it from a dance song, but taking it from a song that has nothing to do with dance music. That became a huge dance song. So one that you had played the other night that turned into a techno song. No, Jay played it. Were you here? It was Raccoon, Love You More.
Yes,
and all of a sudden it became a huge indie techno song, and it really just came from this like very romantic processional wedding type song. So that's
you've played that for me before. Yeah,
I've still got the note on my desktop, and when he said it last night, I'm like, that's what that means, because it just says on a text file, "Love You More, Raccoon," and I'm like, I don't understand what kind of.
I think I remember when you wrote that down and you stuck it up there.
But if you get a chance to go listen to that one, and he was here last night, so in his honor, since he can't be with us tonight, he's partying in Hollywood doing gigs. We'll throw one in for Jay, because he would have hit that, because that was still a hot topic from yesterday. But here's what I got. I got James Gang, and the track is actually Ashes, the Rain, and I. And if you get to the middle section of it, it's kind of just a 70s sound and rock song. But there's this synth section that kind of takes off, and what it actually ended up becoming was the Right Here, Right Now part that Fatboy Slim used for the intro.
Okay. Yeah.
So to come out of something from Joe Walsh to end up on a Fatboy Slim record, it's just like
pretty cool.
The degrees of separation. But give it out a listen. As I say, when you get to that part, you'll just hear that da, 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 that synthy part coming in. You're like, that's where it came from. And Super One, the other one that we talk about.
Oh God, I have never done that.
You haven't done the Super One. But that's Lady Mojo, right?
Yeah, Chic Super One. Is Lady. Yeah.
And that's
I got one that. And don't quote me, because it was not, I'm being serious, because it was a karaoke song. I did a gig last week, and it was a karaoke song I never did before. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Let them do their thing. And in the middle of this, I heard Double Dutch Bus with the ism is you got, the kism is whatever.
Was it Missy Elliott track?
Yeah, what?
Missy Elliott? She does a lot of that kind of.
It might have been John.
Syllable type thing.
You know what? I've heard that sampled in something, but I can't recall what it was. Down.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, just right away, I thought Double Dutch Bus.
Yeah.
And I played it, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you got like, how did you figure that out?" I said, "Well, I've been around a while." And I knew that's where, that came from. But I can't remember. It might have been Missy Elliott, John, that you're saying.
I can hear it, but I can't think of the name of the song. I don't play it enough to remember the name of it.
Double Dutch Bus.
Yeah.
Sample.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I mean, a lot of times they'll sample songs that weren't really danceable tracks. I mean, not songs you'd play
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking about Beastie Boys rhyming and stealing off of Licensed Ill.
Yeah.
It samples Black Sabbath's Sweet Leaf. Yeah, you would never place Not that you'd ever play rhyming and stealing at a gig, but I'm just saying that is not something you would say, oh, let's throw this on. If they like rhyming and stealing, they like Sweet Leaf. No, not the case at all. Or Jay's favorite song, Lola's theme.
Lola, yeah.
It samples Johnny Taylor's "What About My Love," which is a down-tempo R&B number that no one would ever dance to anyway. But there are cases that absolutely, they're cool, they're funky, they're up-tempo, and people would absolutely dance to them. You know, the song that they use for the sample. And like Brian had said, sometimes they just steal the whole damn song.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Or at least the intro.
Like Sugar Hill Gang. They stole the whole damn.
Yeah.
Well, the last one I had, just I give it to you, was the Deja Vu Uptown Baby. That who would have known that was Steely Dan's Black Cow, right? You wouldn't have seen that coming from a mile away. It's like, what? It wasn't until I was going through the greatest hits of my Steely Dan, I'm going, no, it's like, that's just got to be mislabeled. I said, that song's probably just got the wrong name on it. And then you hear Walter Egan start singing, and I'm like, oh my God, it is. It's from them. Hey, nobody's safe from getting beat jacked.
Like every
Donald
Pitbull
Fagen
song
singing.
Oh, Fagan. Yeah.
Yeah, Walter Egan was the Magnet and Steel guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember the Steely Dan guy's name, Walter something, but it wasn't Egan.
Was it? Yeah.
No, it was Walter something.
Yeah, it is.
Donald Fagen was always the singer in Steely Dan. I think Walter was saying anything except background, maybe.
But of course, for the rap, they cut that part off before, their singing came in, and they just kept it for the hip hop beat. Like Jam Master Jay used to do with the Walk This Way. So just play that beat intro until the guy starts singing, then cut it, bring it back. We don't want to hear him.
I still say,
Billy Squire.
Last Night a DJ Saved My Life by In Deep. That was a sample. I just can't figure out what. You guys recall that?
There was a song called. What? There's a song called "The Last Night DJ."
No,
The In Deep is an old song. That's a sample.
You know what?
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I want to say it is, but I can't put my finger on it. And I used to mix it well with, and you guys are gonna laugh, but Another One Bites the Dust by Queen, and it went well. I'm not saying that's the sample, but they went well together.
It's right there at 106 or whatever. Right.
And it just like the bass part of it.
Yeah.
It just went great together. And I don't know if that was a sample of it or.
Well, I mean, a lot of times one song inspires another song. So they're kind of in the same key. They kind of sound alike. The one that I recently learned about, I say recently, the last couple of years, because I didn't know this. Everybody else knew this, so you can make fun of me. Don't judge me. Don't laugh at me. I'm trying to be like, don't quote me on this. Don't quote me. Don't judge me.
What is it?
Princess Purple Rain. Princess Purple Rain is a reworking of Journey's Open Arms.
All right, I'm going.
Faithfully. Journey's Faithfully.
I
didn't know that. So they kind of sound alike a little bit, but
so much so that Prince actually called Neil and asked him if it was okay if he used the chord pretty much.
Yeah,
it's not close.
It's not close. Yeah, exactly.
He's like, "Do you mind it?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, go for it." It's a different.
I didn't put that together either.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, that's interesting.
Same four chords to the verse.
Guy. But maybe it's because I'm not a huge Prince guy. Maybe that's I
don't know.
But Purple Rain, that's huge.
Oh, yeah. Purple Rain is outrageous. Yeah,
Prince is just a rabbit hole that if you love music and you really want to check out some just top shelf stuff, writing songs, you could go down that rabbit hole for literally years.
I know. Here's another one that just came to me. Blurred Lines with Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%. I mean, I think he actually got sued, right?
Yeah, and lost, and paid up.
But whatever. Well, yeah.
So somebody sampling, you looped it.
Right. But, I mean, there's hundreds out there if you just think about them. But,
Ghostbusters and Huey Lewis.
Yeah.
I Want a New Drug. That was sued too. They were sued.
Have you heard the story on that?
Drug? Really? Yeah.
No, I Want a New Drug is Ghostbusters.
Well, the story I heard on that was interesting because what happened was the people who were doing the movie Ghostbusters, I don't remember if it was Warner or who it was, went to Huey Lewis and said, "Hey, we need you to write a song for this movie we're doing about ghost busting called Ghostbusters." And he had just done Back to the Future, and he's like, I don't want to be known as the movie's soundtrack guy, so I'm not interested in doing that. No, thank you, but no. So then they call up Ray Parker Jr. like, can you do a song for this movie Ghostbusters and make it sound like I Want a New Drug? Make it sound like a hero. Yeah. Okay, I'll do my best. And that's what they came up with.
We stole the whole song.
Yeah, but they literally commissioned him to do a song in the style of Huey Lewis.
Make an AI Huey Lewis song. Okay.
Right, yeah. There was I think I read Beato on that or something like that.
Oh yeah,
he was talking to him and he was telling the story, and he's like, Ghostbusters is like, how do you work that into lyrics? I mean, it doesn't make sense. So who are you gonna call from the commercial? Ghostbusters. That totally made the call. What they call it, the call and respond. Method did work well for that. But yeah, it was just funny. It was like, yeah, I totally did, but I was asked to. So I did what they asked me to do. Commission track and a hit. Oh my God, it was a hit.
Big time.
Yeah, so, both of them in the charts, like you say, within a year of each other, and no one connecting the dots for like 10 years until someone went, hey.
Yeah, it's almost like I wanted to go backwards somehow or something. Yeah. It's just different.
Yeah, well, Huey was on fire with just top tens. He was just banging them out for that.
Yeah, he was hot
5 or 6 year window. So Ray Parker, he had what when he was with radio, he had the single, and then
Ray, yeah. He did all this stuff with Jack and Jill and Woman Needs Love, and
Woman Needs Love, and then the other woman charted.
The other woman.
Solo, and
where's my brain? One of my Ray Parker Jr. songs before that, because he was hot, and it's not even Ghostbusters has just become his song. He's got other great tracks, but that's what I think of when I think of Ray Parker Jr. as Ghostbusters.
Everybody.
Now that you brought up Ghostbusters, and see, Brian probably already knows where I'm going. We Brian and I both do karaoke shows, right?
Oh, that Brian.
Yeah. And there's a guy that comes to one of my shows, and he will have me do Ghostbusters, but he will be singing the lyrics of "Closer" by 9 Inch Nails to that tune. And it's interesting, to say the least. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Formulas.
Okay.
Yeah. You never ran into that, Brian K? No?
Not that song, but
I will have to video
sing other songs.
Yeah. I'll have to video it, send it to you. Yeah. But it's interesting. But anyway, that's all I got on this topic. I
had another cool transition sample song out of the 80s into newer kind of dance music, hip hoppy kind of stuff is SOS by Rihanna, sampled Tainted Love.
Yeah.
By Soft Cell.
Okay, that makes
a good transition. You can use that, DJs use that as a transition going from 80s.
That's a good one to do. Yeah.
Yeah, she sampled that, and you can hear it right through the song.
Yeah, they sampled Soft Cell's remake.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, it is.
I don't remember who did that originally, but yeah.
What?
It was a woman.
Tainted Love. Tainted Love's a remake, the Soft Cell.
Right, but what is the original?
Yeah,
do you remember the original?
Not offhand.
No, I have Google right here. I can just look it up because this will drive me nuts otherwise. I thought it was a woman who did it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Can I just say one more?
It was 81.
Well, yeah, Tainted Love was Gloria Jones.
There you go.
Gloria Jones. Wow.
Yeah. Gloria Jones.
From 1965, folks.
I dated her.
Wow. You dated her.
You probably did.
Probably. In the river.
All their time over. Somebody had another one? I'm sorry.
Paint the Town Red from Doja Cat is Dionne Warwick's Walk On By.
There's so many. Doja's done so many of those.
I think Walking By has been sampled a few times.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Well, do you want a cheat sheet? It's whosampled.com.
Yeah.
Tells you all the samples.
Wow. You cheater.
I knew that.
Yes, I'm a cheater.
Yeah.
Well, the one you hear a lot, I mean, the two you hear a lot, or you used to hear a lot, were Chic samples and James Brown samples.
Yeah.
But there were also a lot of George Clinton samples out there too.
What? Atomic Dog?
Well, no, he didn't sample. People sampled him.
Oh.
They
Well,
were
that's what I
sampling
mean.
Funkadelic
Did they
and
use that?
Parliament and all that.
Yeah.
Kraftwerk used to get maybe not sampled, but reworked a lot. That used to happen a lot, especially in electro and hip hop back in the very, very early days. That was Trans Europe Express, and all that stuff was used in pretty big electro hip hop songs. But yeah, it's fun to find out where some of these popular songs samples came from and whether or not you can work them into your sets or mix them in or whatever. I thought it would be an interesting topic for tonight.
Yeah, because we were talking about that Shabuzi tune, the bar song, and we're like, oh, that's Tipsy from 10 years ago or whatever. And it's like, you should be working that in.
And the people don't even know Tipsy.
Yeah.
The original K1 or whatever it was,
Jaquan.
Yeah.
Look at Kevin raising his hand.
Oh, look at, oh my God. Mr. Beers.
You in the back.
The Tipsy, that was one that was requested. So, but I already had that in my folder of that kind of music. So
Jaquan, yeah. Or Shabuzi.
The Jaquan.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
It's funny because I've always rotated Jaquan. And then Shabuzi came on. I'm like, I don't care about that. But now it's like heavily requested that you do Shabuzi.
Yeah, it's big.
For a
And I
while.
won't-
We'll see. We'll see if it hangs in there.
I always wanted to follow it up
whatever.
with Jaquan, but I won't because it's like, it's too much.
Too
you know?
much.
Yeah. So I won't do it. But anyway.
Well, every Pitbull song is a sample.
Every
It feels like
Brian,
it.
you nailed it, man. Everyone.
Every damn one. Yeah. But you know what? The people love Pitbull. That
they
he's
do.
my go-to for that
They
dance.
do.
Yeah.
Or as my mother calls him, that Pitbull.
That Pitbull.
Yeah.
I really like that Pitbull.
He's always been my go-to for the dance floor because he works every time,
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Not many duds. A lot of bangers. And only a handful that were just kind of fell off. And
Well, I mean, you're gonna hit it. You're gonna miss once in a while when you throw that many balls out there.
Mhm.
What was that one he did with the REO Speedwagon song? That didn't
Wow.
go anywhere, but
Oh,
what was it? Heard it from a friend who
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I didn't,
Around.
was it?
Yeah, messing around.
Yeah, messing around, correct.
I played that a few times.
Yeah. It didn't go anywhere, did it?
No, it didn't.
no, there's
You
better
can-
choices for him.
I think with Pitbull songs, you can listen to them and you can kind of figure out if people are going to want to hear them or not.
Yeah.
It's not a big mystery when a song doesn't do well, and it's not a big mystery when one goes crazy.
Yeah, he's
I'll
got to
be
believe
honest.
in it. If he doesn't
I'll be
call himself
honest.
Mr. 305, then, it's probably not good.
Yeah.
Fireball don't even work for me much
Oh,
anymore.
I do wonderful with
No.
Fire.
Oh, that's still great.
Yeah,
No,
Fireball
it
works.
still don't work for me that much. Like it,
Fireball, the big ones are Fireball, Timber, and still Gaucho.
Yeah.
Right.
Still doing Gaucho.
I know you want me. That always works.
Yeah.
That's for some reason, But he's got two versions, like Caliaucho and I Know You Want Me, right?
Yeah.
And I've gone back and I stopped playing it forever. But recently, within the last year or so, I've gone back and I'm playing him and Enrique Iglesias with I Like It a lot.
Mm.
And people are, oh, wow, I forgot about that track. And they're getting down to it.
Oh, yeah, I stopped
Oh, I
playing that
like-
a while back. Maybe I'll try that again.
Yeah, it's one of those I forgot kind of songs,
Right.
Well, he had so
Oh, I
many.
like
It was just flooded with Pitbull. Like, Give Me Everything Tonight's another one too. That if you haven't played,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, he's got that one too.
Right.
That, yeah song. I thought that would have been
We'll
bigger
stop
than
the
it was.
party.
I thought it
That's
tanked.
Don't Stop the Party's good.
everybody having a good time. It just gets everybody
Yeah,
going.
don't stop the party. I do really well with.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
kind
he's
of
got a lot of hits that just
somebody had to do it because everybody else was doing some stuff you couldn't dance to.
But you
Yeah.
know what the other thing with Pitbull is? Like everybody wanted to do something with him
Yeah.
to make them bigger or whatever. And it worked.
But he's got staying power. He's got staying power that went beyond Black Eyed Peas. They didn't last that long. LMFAO didn't last long at all. He's still.
But their stuff still works.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
he's still doing it. He's still able to pull it off, and good for him. So I was thinking at the beginning of the show that maybe we could wrap a record roundup into this show. But
you were thinking that, Brian? Yeah.
Well, you suggested it, and I was thinking we'd try it. But now I'm thinking maybe we ought to just maybe cut this show a little short.
Let's just take a break, and we'll do a record roundup.
How about that?
That's much better.
I don't know how you're seeing this on your screen in the future with your Jetsons cars and stuff.
You don't know what millennia you're in.
But back in the olden days, when all I had was a black and white camera, we decided to end this show and do a record roundup afterwards.
And that's what we'll do.
That's what we're going to do. So
for continuity, look for the video where we're all wearing the same clothes.
Yes. Absolutely.
I got my very nice black sweatshirt tonight. Please notice.
It's
You blend right in.
It's lovely.
Yeah. So if you find a video and Brian's in color, because that isn't the one that followed tonight.
Oh, that would be years ago.
That's definitely I'm back in good old 1955 here. So.
I can't remember when Brian was in color. Now that you said that, John.
Yeah, I'm going back in time.
He's
and
doing
back
the whole
to the
Ricky
future.
Ricardo thing. Yeah.
It all happened with a sunburn thing, and then it was done after that.
And I just
and white.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
But anyway.
good Pitbull song. Okay. I will see